Good morning everybody and welcome back to the channel, where today I'm going to be working on getting the kitchen unit assembled and installed in here. Let me show you what I mean. This is the plan for the kitchen. It's designed on SketchUp, the program I used for the entire project to date. Please don't laugh, as I know just enough about the program to get by. Let me zoom out and show you what the different pieces looks like after creating 2D sections from the 3D model, right before I send off to the laser shop. Here they are. This is what I will export to a DXF file. From SketchUp to the garage floor. Just before I continue working on the kitchen, I want to have a quick chat with you guys regarding the trailer weight. The trailer is not at full weight now, but it's nearly there, and I just quickly want to show you how light on its wheels and nimble it still is. If you look at me over here, not using all my body weight to get it to move, taking it with one hand, I can move this around very easily. Same with pushing it back. I don't need to lean into it to push it. I can just push it with one arm going back. It really is very light and nimble on its wheels still. If you do a bit of research on Google and YouTube, you'll see that trailers of similar size and weights have been towed to the most remote locations you can think of and over some crazy rugged terrain, and they manage just fine. But hey, don't take my word for it. Stick around till the end of the build series and then you'll see me take this out with minimal effort and having a blast with it. For now, let's get back to building the kitchen. Bending the thin sheet metal is like folding paper after it has been cut. Without bending presses, I cannot think of an easier way to bend it. I use the hammer to square the corner off, as right after bending them, they have a slight curve to them. Just making sure the box will be square before spot welding the four sides to each other. Using my bending tool from the first video, only this time I'm bending slightly thicker steel with a very small lip. This made for less leverage and caused my tool to split apart. Let me quickly fix this. Perfect, back to bending. I'm just checking to see if my drawer face is the right size and it will cover up the square hole. Flipping it over so I can marry the base and the countertop. If somebody noticed that I had the countertop the wrong way around, then well done to you for being so sharp. Basically, I mirrored it by working upside down. Earlier on in the 3D model, you would see the overhang to the right of the drawers, because that's where the fridge temperature setting panel is located. I was going to edit this out, but thought to myself, screw it, gotta roll with the punches. The way I'm building this now, the overhang would be to the left and would not work at all. After realizing my mistake, I removed the top and moved it over to the right side. Just off camera for the sake of time. I'm sure no one wants to see me redo the work I just did. I use my spirit levels mostly as a straight edge. In this case, I clamp it to the top so that when I weld the side of the box, I can make sure it's dead straight. And here it's all fixed and right way around. Check as I move the center section that splits the two drawers. It has absolutely no structure. Let me add an angle to the back of it, which will stiffen it up a lot. I'm just tapping the top of the angle to make sure it 100% lines up with the cross section. After welding it, just look at the difference. Rock solid. And it has a nice flat lip when you look at it from the top. Thank you SketchUp once again for making the pieces fit like a charm. Just look at this. Just a quick check to see if the rest will fit, and yes, all looks good. I had these two pieces of stainless steel tubing lying around in the garage from previous projects. I think they will work good for the two support stanchions I need for the countertop. If anyone is wondering what Sean is doing under the trailer, he's busy prepping the underside for primer by removing any debris on the surface and also lightly scratch the steel surface for better primer adhesion. Just removing the fridge so I can weld the box without damaging it. The piece of angle I'm cutting now will form the lip for the base plate on the open edge section beneath the box. I had to get the box in place first in order to line it up perfectly. Now you can see what I mean. There was no way welding that piece in and getting it spot on at the time I was building the frame for the whole assembly. I knew it had to go in, but waiting till this step gives me a perfectly aligned edge. I cut the holes in the floor section because I think it looks cool, but also with it having a raised lip around it, it would make cleaning it a lot easier as you can just help the dirt through the holes instead of having to vacuum it up. Same story here. I'm not looking at the bubble on the spirit level. I'm purely using it as a straight edge. That way I can see where the top is curved or has uneven spots in it. Naturally, with the spot welding of the lip, the steel gets some heat distortion and pulls skew. Lifting the corner up with a steel tube until there is no gap between the spirit level and the tip of the worktop guarantees me it's nice and flat. I then lock the combination square to the bottom size and slide it up and down between the pole and the box to make sure they are perfectly parallel to each other. Let's make some drawers and bend some more steel. It's just so easy building this way. If you ever need to bend a piece of sheet metal that you can't have cut with a laser, another trick that you can use is to mark a line where you need to bend it. Then cut the backside of the metal, but not all the way through. Leave like 20% of the material. This will yield the same effect as this. It'll bend nicely and even on your cut line, and from the outside it will be butter smooth. Look at this oak, always in the mood for some playing. Alright, the next step is to get some runners. A 500mm drawer, so a 450 runner would work good for this. $450s, that should do it. Back home again with two sets of 450 runners. You'll see me use the combination square a lot as a depth gauge. I find this useful as it would take a lot longer to measure with a tape and mark on the surface. In this case, I set it from the front of the drawer to where the runner starts and know both will be exactly the same distance from the front. And here we have the two supervisors making sure I'm still working on their vacation van. They can't wait for it. This is just a mock fit to see the gap on the inside between the runners and the box. I will bolt these little cut angles to the runners and weld them into place. Measuring exactly how far from the bottom and from the front the runner must sit. Normally in wood cupboards you can use a few screws to line it up and move it around before placing the final screws to hold it in place. Here with steel I don't have that luxury. It's a one and done for me with welding. Setting up the self-leveling laser to help me with the next part makes my life so much easier. First, I get the trailer 100% level by raising the front with a jockey wheel until I can see the laser lines up perfectly with my kitchen assembly. Having built my entire kitchen in the main house by myself, I've installed quite a few of these runners and found the easiest way for me to get both sides the same level is by using a self-leveling laser. You set it once and then just place both runners on the line. Not only does this get you both sides the same level across, but also on the same axis sliding in and out. The camera battery died here, so I didn't record the face of the drawer going on. Luckily, there's two of them. On to the next. Always line up my drawer faces so that they look aligned in the closed position. I never try and measure them on the drawer itself and then try sliding them in place. Most of the time they will not be perfectly aligned and your eye will pick up a very small mistake up instantly. Here you can see me making lines of where I want the face to sit when closed, even if it might be a little off on the drawer itself. If you were to measure it, I don't care, you can't see those small differences in the open position. After getting all my marks in place, I take the drawer out and place it on the face to fasten them. This method I use regardless whether it's steel or wood. And voila, the camera doesn't show it, but they are near perfectly parallel to each other. Let me slap some handles on. When installing handles, I usually measure to get one point of where it must sit. Then by using a depth gauge, aka my combination square, I set it from the edge of the drawer to the underside of the handle. I just mount it. Once the distance is set, you just move it to the other side until it rests on top of your depth gauge. I found that when trying to measure both holes, you sometimes end up with a slightly skew handle. And here we are. I think it's a pass when comparing it to the SketchUp model earlier. Alright, now that I'm done with the kitchen, let me explain a couple of things to you. Why I left this space over here was so that I can gain access to the fridge temperature setting panel, which is located at the bottom over here. But then at the same time, this leaves me with a very cool and neat little storage space for extra cool drinks and stuff that you want to store. I mean, a camping fridge only holds X amount of items, it's not that big. Usually, when it runs low, you'd have to go fetch cool drinks from your storage box, wherever that might be, whether it's in the storage boxes or your vehicle. Now, I mean, you can just, from here, top it up, and then when this runs low, you can go fill this up. I just think it's a lot more convenient and a lot easier. I'm very chuffed with how this turned out, and I think it's going to be great. Alright, it's early morning and Carl wants a bowl of cereal. Let's see how the kitchen performs and how quickly I can get everything unpacked. So we start off opening up the latch, pull the kitchen assembly out, open up the pantry, get all the tables set up. That's not a bad time to get everything open and ready for use. Let's make a bowl of cereal. Let's start by getting the bowl and the spoon out. We'll get the cereal, sugar and coffee, and some milk. I can already see this is going to be a breeze. Having all the space just makes it so much easier than trying to be crammed up doing this. And just like that, you have a bowl of cereal next to the road or in the bush, wherever else you need it. Cheers, enjoy! Same goes for packing away. It's going to be a breeze. Alright, well, after having about 5 bowls of cereal, I'm done with this experiment. Thank you so much for watching till the end. Please like and share the video, and please subscribe to the channel. It helps me out a lot with the YouTube algorithm to get the video out there so people can see it. But that's it for this video, and I'll see you on the next one. I don't know what I'm going to be building. I'll still figure it out and let you know. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Cheers, bye.